the capsON podcast, coming to you from the capital, with your hosts, Nick Tobias, Tyler Blumenstick, and Michael Britton.
Hey guys, we had technical difficulties with exporting the podcast from a new software we're trying out. Not sure why it happened, but we're working on it. So you might experience some data loss, cutting in and out throughout the duration of the podcast. I hope it doesn't take away from the quality of it, but we hope you enjoy anyways, and sorry about the inconvenience. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the second episode of the capsON podcast. For those of you who listened to our first episode last Wednesday, thank you very much. And for any new listeners, thanks for tuning in, and we hope you guys enjoy. So we're going to kick this off with NFL Week 13 matchups. We have a special Thanksgiving Day episode for you with 3 games on Thursday. First one with Chicago at Detroit at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Then we're moving on to Buffalo at Dallas at 4:30 and New Orleans at Atlanta at 8:20. All 3 games on Thursday during your Thanksgiving Day festivities. Starting off with Chicago at Detroit. The line is currently Chicago -3. The under-over is set at 38.5, so predicting a little bit of a defensive battle, one of the lower point totals you're going to see this season. I think it definitely stays under, just at a first glance. Anyways, before I came over here, I was watching some college basketball, and I looked at the ticker on the bottom of the screen, and it said it's possible that Jeff Driscoll does not play on Thursday during the Lions' Thanksgiving Day tradition. Dallas is also another team that always plays on Thanksgiving. But back to the Lions and Jeff Driscoll. It's possible that he doesn't play. Nick, who you got backing him up?
Today practice, Driscoll's hammy was still feeling pretty sore. He's still up in the air. Matt Patricia didn't really give a definitive answer, obviously, whether or not Jeff Driscoll's going to play. But his backup, his name is David Blau or David Blow. I'm not really too sure what it is. But he's a 24-year-old undrafted free agent. He played for Purdue. He wasn't impressive there, so maybe his last name is Blow.
He might blow.
I mean, listen, both quarterback options are terrible. I do think that the Chicago Bears cover the -3 as much as their offense isn't impressive. But yeah, I mean, that's all I got in this gross matchup.
I'm just happy that it's the 12:30 game on Thanksgiving. I'm not trying to watch this and throw up my wonderful Thanksgiving dinner. It's going to be just one hell of an ugly game. It's the race to stay out of last in the NFC North, especially with Jeff Driscoll possibly being out. Even if he was in, which he might still start, he has a sore hamstring. Listen, guy, get over it, all right? But the Bears' defense is ranked 4 in pass defense and just overall. So they're really gonna just destroy the Lions on that. They might even make Mitch Trubisky look like a decent quarterback, which is very hard to do based on his recent track record. But like I said, this is gonna be an ugly game. Mitch Trubisky's hip might be a little better. But I'm gonna go with the Bears -3. I think that there's going to be no offensive scoring. I think the Bears are going to score once on defense, and then it's going to be all field goals from there with a 13-9 final score with the Bears winning. So Bears -3 is my pick.
I agree with both you guys. Definitely grab this line before it jumps above 3. I don't really foresee this needing to kind of be a nail-biter down the stretch. I feel like whether Driscoll plays or it's a backup, Chicago's defense has the ability to stifle any quarterback. Even the most elite quarterbacks in the league have trouble with Chicago's defense. So throwing a guy that's already a backup, possibly not playing, going to the third stringer, definitely recipe for disaster. But yeah, if you can grab the line at Chicago -3 before it makes the jump over that key number of 3, definitely do so. If you want to throw the Bears money line in there, I think that's a great choice to maybe put it in a parlay or just take it alone. It's really not that high as it is right now. It's around minus 170 You can get a decent return on that. Not terrible. But anyways, yeah, I could see this game being anywhere maybe like 20-10. I just don't think the Lions are going to score more than 10 points, and Detroit's defense has kind of been Swiss cheese. So as bad as Trubisky is, there are weapons on that offense. Montgomery, Allen Robinson, Taylor Gabriel. Trubisky has the ability to make plays. He showed flashes of it last year, as I said it in the last episode. But yeah, I mean,
how comfortable, how big are you letting the spread get? When you start getting a little uncomfortable with what, like -6, -5?
I mean, I don't think it gets that high, but I mean, I would still consider taking it at that number. We vouched for Chicago -6 last week against the Giants.
They didn't cover.
Which they didn't cover. I believe it was a 19-14 game. But I mean, they held the Giants' offense, which has some weapons, to only 14 points, and the Lions have a worse offense than that. So
I think we could all agree that the Bears are definitely come out on top, especially with a -3 spread. Like we said earlier, hop on it early just in case Jeff Driscoll is out. You don't want it to fluctuate too much. Hammer Bills -3. All right, on to the 4:30 game, which is
Hammer
Bill.
Lions. Hammer Lions.
Hammer
nice.
what? No, Hammer the Bears -3. All right, on to the next game. Bills at the Cowboys at 4:30. You want to start us off, Stick?
yeah, so the line opened up at Dallas -7, bought down a half point under a touchdown, or bet down. Dallas -6.5. The under-over is currently at 46. Opened at 44.5. So some early action there on the over, pushing that up. Dallas money line at -305, a little too high to take. If you want to throw it in maybe like a lotto parlay, it's not a bad option if you're on Dallas. But I know you two are kind of looking on the other side of that at Buffalo +6.5.
Definitely looking at Buffalo 6.5.
Absolutely.
Josh Allen has been a touchdown machine this year. In the past 7 games, 15 touchdowns with only 2 interceptions. If he can keep this streak going and bring this into the game in Dallas, I think they're going to keep it really close. On the other hand, though, Dak is also playing pretty impeccable. He has 14 touchdowns, but he has thrown 7 interceptions in the past 7 games, so that worries me a little bit. But the Bills do have a very solid defense, so I think that if they could put pressure on Dak and just make him make stupid throws and not be able to let the routes get to their full extent, I think that the Bills can hold this close. And like I said in the last podcast, which proved true last week, is those hands on Josh Allen. You always trust in a quarterback with big hands. I'm saying take the Bills +6.5. Not saying they're going to win, so stay away from the money line, but this is going to be a closer game than some people think.
Yeah, I'm all aboard that, Mike. Bills +6.5. Right now against the spread, the Bills are 4-0-1 on the road and 3-0-1 as underdogs. So the Bills really like being underdogs, and yeah, maybe they don't win all those games, but they cover them, and good teams win games, great teams cover the spread. So we love teams that cover the spread here. I do love the Bills this game. As a Cole Beasley revenge game, so I'm all about my revenge games. We had Jarvis Landry last week against Miami pop off. I think Cole Beasley comes back with a vengeance. The Bills' defense is legit. Their pass defense with Tre'Davious White. He'll lock down Amari Cooper. Then it's left up to Gallup and Cobb and Witten to see if they can do something. The Bills' run defense isn't a brick wall, but they have enough to slow down Zeke, to force Dak to throw the ball, and I think it's going to be closer than 6.5. If anything, the Bills might lose by a field goal or something. But I'm all aboard Bills +6.5. So what's the next game? Saints at Falcons. We got Saints -6.5 on the road. Vegas is giving them almost a touchdown here. What do you think?
The one thing I want to talk about before we dive into this is the one game in the whole season that the Chick-fil-A will be open in the Falcon Stadium. So 3 hours before just to get online for those spicy chicken sandwiches.
Oh man.
Completely honest with you, but
I don't know.
It's more the fact that it's a Chick-fil-A
It's a
in a
novelty.
stadium. It's the only
Yeah.
time it's open. But to the game, I personally think this game is getting a little overhyped. I think the Saints are going to run banged up. You got Austin Hooper and Julio Jones, who didn't practice today. And you also have Devonta Freeman, who was limited in practice. So depending on that and how they are for the game, we'll see. But the Saints are just looking more and more like a Super Bowl team, whereas everyone hopped on the Falcons real quick because they had a 2-game win and they beat the Saints. The Saints are not going to allow that again. They're going to go right into the Falcons' home stadium. I'm saying Saints minus 6.5.
Yeah, I like Saints minus 6.5 here. The Falcons straight up don't have an answer for Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is a beast. He's a reception monster. Drew Brees is finally getting healthy.
Michael Thomas has 98 receptions already this year.
He's like on pace for like well over 200, like maybe 250 receptions, 270 receptions, whatever. Brees is healthy. Kamara's relatively healthy again.
Correction, he meant 140.
Oh, 140.
Yeah, 250 is a lot of receptions.
250 is a lot of receptions. But yeah, I think New Orleans has way too much firepower. Yeah, Atlanta's defense has been playing pretty decent. But I love the Saints here. They have the experience. They have the firepower. I think Drew Brees leads them to a victory. What about you?
Nah, I'm in agreement there. This is a game I think I'm going to stay away from, only because Atlanta has been up and down. Their defense showed flashes of being able to stop superstars. They only held Carolina to, I believe, 3 points 2 weeks ago, and they have Christian McCaffrey. So, I mean, what is the highest fantasy scorer this year?
Yeah,
it's got to be.
He's still balled out or something.
Him or Michael Thomas have to be up there. I think McCaffrey's got him beat. But Atlanta beat New Orleans in New Orleans, held them to 9 points. So they did have an answer, not for Michael Thomas, because I'm pretty sure he still went off that game. Anyways, they only let up 9 points last time they played the Saints. Now they have the home advantage on Thanksgiving. It's a night game in prime time. This is just something that I don't want to really kind of take a look at here. I don't want to put my money on it. So that wraps up our Turkey Day games. You guys want to go through and just kind of recap the 3 games, and then next week we'll revisit, we'll recap, and
I think we all agree on this week's on the Thanksgiving Day, right?
So Nick, no, we had a discrepancy in Bills Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only one, pretty much.
Yeah, so we got Chicago minus 3.5 that game. I know me and Mike, we both have.
What are your picks?
What are my picks
for the 3 games?
Okay,
shoot them. Just go quick, rapid fire.
Chicago minus 3.5, Buffalo plus 6.5, and New Orleans minus 6.5.
I'm taking the same as Nicky Peppers over here.
Yes,
Bears
sir.
minus 3, Bills plus 6.5, and Saints minus 6.5.
So I know for the 2 later games, I said I wasn't gonna make a pick on it, but if I had to, we'll start with the early game. I got Bears minus 3, Dallas minus 6.5, New Orleans minus 7, or whatever that line ends up being. It opened at 6.5 for New Orleans at Atlanta, and now it's up to New Orleans minus 7. Either way, if you can get that from 6.5 to 7 before it. Moving on to the Sunday games. First game we're going to tackle here. Divisional game.
Divisional game. Well, now who they have?
They just announced that Hodges is going to play.
Duck.
Mason Rudolph for the Steelers. Mason Rudolph has just lost all his confidence, as you can see. He wasn't able to make any 90-yard touchdown, like the second play that he was in. He really hyped up the team. He's a gritty dude out. Very chippy game based on what happened with Myles Garrett and all that in the last matchup that they had. But speaking of Myles Garrett, with the Browns down him, it's a big loss for their pass rush defense. And also they have to go into Pittsburgh. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with a little crazy bet here and say Steelers money line plus 118. That's a gamble, but I'm going to say Steelers plus 118 money line.
I don't think so. I don't know about that. Cleveland, yes, they played a bad football team in Miami, who was also on a little bit of a run, kind of like the Steelers are. Like the Steelers' defense has kind of stepped up, but now running into a team that it seems like they feed off mojo, just based off the personalities they have in their locker room with Baker, Odell, Jarvis Landry, Kareem Hunt, and Nick Chubb in the backfield. Once these guys get going and they get in a groove, all of these guys love each other. People might not like them, but they're very close in the locker room. Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry. Odell caught a touchdown. Jarvis caught 2 last week. I just think Cleveland is starting to click a little bit. I still don't think they're a great team, but they definitely have enough to beat a Pittsburgh team that I don't think their offense is going to be able to keep up no matter how well their defense has been playing. That's just my take. I think this line is the way it is just because it's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And Cleveland doesn't get any respect. But yeah, just like my pick last week, where I was extremely confident on Cleveland covering I believe it was 10-point spread,
10.5,
somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I think it's much of the same this week for me. I like Cleveland to roll here and cover I believe it's a 2-point spread now, opened at -1.
I have them 2.5 on FanDuel. I'm all aboard.
Yeah, so the public's siding with us. They're taking Cleveland. Vegas making the adjustment, pushing the line up to hedge their losses. But yeah, I mean, I like Cleveland to roll and win their 4th straight. So
yeah, I mean, I have not much to add about this game. I think Cleveland -2.5 is a no-brainer. The Steelers' offense has been nothing impressive this game. Yeah, their defense has been. Their defense has been keeping them in games. But I think the Cleveland Browns are finally starting to mesh. Their offense is finally starting to click. Baker's starting to look a little bit better, looking more comfortable in the pocket. Their line doesn't give him much time. But now that they have Kareem Hunt in the backfield shaking things up with Nick Chubb, I do think the offense is better, and I think the better offense wins this game. So I'm all over Cleveland, -2.5. So what we got next?
Green Bay at the Giants.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, Jesus.
Green Bay -6.5. The game is in New York. Almost a touchdown favorite. Over/under set at 45.5. Green Bay is -290 on the money line. I mean, I feel like I'm going to have much of the same to say like I did last week in the Bears-Giants matchup. The Giants are just not a team you want to bet on. I mean, they're getting less than a touchdown against Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, my God.
The Packers, like, I don't know, they're a spotty team. Like, they're good. They're 8-3, but the Giants are just really bad and don't really have anybody. I mean, they have Saquon, but Saquon has not been performing to his full potential lately. The offensive line has been just getting clogged up, beat at the line of scrimmage, not giving him a chance to get in space. Giants, I guess.
You probably should be better than Schumer.
I mean, I feel like everybody thinks they could be the in my opinion. But anyway, back to the game. I don't know. Just 6.5.
I'll be at this game, probably taking years off my life from how mad I am watching the plays unfold. And nothing says the get-right Giants more than this game. With the Giants secondary looking like Swiss cheese, Aaron Rodgers is going to throw all over them. I know you said that they can be a spotty team, which they are, but against the Giants, they're really just going to perform. The only chance that the Giants have to keep this game somewhat close would be their run game. If Schumer could use Saquon in like the right way and let him get into space, that would be the most beneficial. But as all Giants fans here, let's just agree that you are stupid if you take the Giants here. Packers -6.5.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is going to come out pissed off. They were just held to 8 points against the Niners last week. The offense looked terrible. The team looked didn't look good at all. The Giants' defense has been atrocious. Their offense isn't something that you could trust. Yeah, they might be getting Shepard back, but then again, they're also losing Golden Tate to a concussion.
Shep played last week.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well,
didn't do much, but he played.
Yeah. Clearly, it didn't make a difference if I didn't even know if he played or not. I think Green Bay -6.5 is a no-brainer here. The Giants look like garbage. And I do think Aaron Rodgers is going to come out with a vengeance, and I think that offense is going to explode, and the Giants are just going to look even worse than they did last week.
I agree, and the Packers' run game is going to give the Giants' defense fits, and I cannot wait to do a podcast episode and vouch for the Giants. It's going to be years down the road, but it will happen. They will turn it around, but not today. Moving on.
Other New York team.
Another New York team. We got the Jets visiting the Bengals. 0-11 Bengals. The Jets are on a bit of a hot streak here.
They really are.
Andy Dalton is starting this game, by the way.
I could not believe what I was seeing on Sunday at MetLife Stadium. I mean, we picked the Raiders. The Raiders just absolutely didn't show up. Probably still jet lagged from their cross-country trip from the West Coast. The line is Jets minus 3.5 right now. The over-under is at 41. I mean, Sam Darnold looked good. Like I don't know if the Raiders definitely weren't covering anybody last week. Crossing routes up the wazoo, just getting people open, creating space. Robbie Anderson had a day. I think he has another day. Cincinnati's just not good. Jets are on a roll. I'm going to go with Jets minus 3.5, and that might end up being my lock of the week on a 4-7 Jets team.
Yeah, I think 3.5 is a no-brainer for this Jets team. The Jets have been on and off all year, but they've got hot recently. I just straight up do not trust the Cincinnati Bengals to do anything. Andy Dalton isn't really much of an upgrade from Ryan Finley. I guess the Bengals decided they wanted to win one game this year instead of 0. I do think that the Jets cover this 3.5 spread with ease. The offense looked good. I think Darnold's finally starting to get comfortable. And I think Le'Veon has a day on the ground and through the air. And I think this 3.5 is a no-brainer.
Yep, couldn't agree more. Going off what Nick said, Le'Veon is totaling over 100 yards in each of the past 3 games. I'm expecting they'll keep that up against the Bengals. And Jamal Adams on the defensive side, he's just been an animal. He leads the team in tackles and sacks this year. And honestly, I know the Bengals pretty much locked up that first-round draft pick, but they should just keep losing and just take Joe Burrow in the first round and hope to build their team around him. Jets minus 3.5. All right, next one is Raiders at Oakland at Kansas City.
Yeah, so what do you have that game at?
Line is opened at Kansas City minus 10. It's down to Kansas City minus 9.5. You might find it better or worse depending on what book you use. The over/under set at 51.5, and KC extremely heavy favorite on the money line at 470. Yeah, I mean, I watched the Raiders play last week, and now they're excuse me, they visited the Jets and threw in a clunker. Now they're on the road again in Kansas City against Patrick Mahomes. This game is gonna be. I have the same vibe of this game as I did last week with the Browns-Dolphins game. Spread was just about the same, around 10. I don't think this game is close. If Robbie Anderson torched that Oakland secondary, I can't even begin to imagine what Tyreek Hill is going to do. I'm going to make I'm not even going to call it a hot take. Tyreek Hill goes for 200 yards on. He's going to go for 200 yards against that defense.
Yeah, I mean, I really can't agree more with you, Stick. The Chiefs, like he said last week, Derek Carr played. He looked like garbage. So bad they even had to put Mike Glennon in. 2 bums. Might as well have just thrown Nathan Peterman in there for the trifecta. But yeah, this game is just going to run away. I know John Gruden's going to be fired up, but he might be the most into this game out of everyone on that team. Yeah, Chiefs minus 9.5 for sure.
Honestly, I'm struggling picking this game a little more than you would think. I like Kansas City minus 9.5, but I just have this feeling that Oakland's offense plays decent next week. The Kansas City's run defense is the 32nd in the National Football League. Josh Jacobs can torch that. Raiders don't have Hunter Renfrow anymore. He broke his rib and it punctured his lung, so he's going to be out a little bit. So now it's reduced to Tyrell Williams and Darren Waller. All right, I guess my decision got a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll with Chiefs minus 9.5. And I hear it's supposed to be chilly, and I know Derek Carr plays like crap in the cold. And like Mike said before, they ended up pulling him and putting Mike Lennon in.
Who was even worse, which is not surprising, but
Yeah, so
So
Chiefs 9.5.
I'll be honest, I didn't even know Mike Glennon got in the game. We left
I
with
think
6 minutes left in the third quarter.
Oh my.
That game was miserable.
That's
he fumbled one of the first snaps he took.
That is a
Yeah,
god
it was.
football
I don't know.
game.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Forget about
Philadelphia at Miami.
Philadelphia.
The line opened at Philly minus 7.5. Bettors and sharps have moved that line up to Philly minus 9. Over under at 45. I don't know. I'm struggling, Nick. I don't know. You were struggling to pick the last game. I'm struggling to pick this game.
This is it for you? I don't know.
It's in Miami. Philly's not a great team, but they have more talent than
They
Miami.
dropped,
potential.
they dropped Jordan Matthews, so that's a good sign that Aguilar and or Alshon Jeffrey will be good to go next week. So you pair Alshon Jeffrey with Zach Ertz with Miles Sanders, J.J. with Carson Wentz. Yeah, maybe they've been mediocre this year, but Miami's defense has been bad. Fitzpatrick has been getting it going with. Really, it's just been the Devontae Parker show on the Dolphins. I think 9.5 is. It's. I do agree. I think. But as much as I hate Philly, I'd go with the -9, -9.5, whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. You pretty much hit on all the points. They've been not performing as well as they should. Carson Wentz has been in kind of a slump, and I think that this is the week that absolutely destroy the Dolphins.
I'm going to throw you guys for a little bit of a curveball here. I'm not going to pick against the spread on this game. I am going to go over 45.
Okay.
Philly doesn't have a great defense. Miami doesn't have a great defense. But both offenses have the potential to put up around 20 points. I could see a Philly win somewhere in like the 27-20 range, 30-20. I don't know. I think this game goes over 45. It's going to be a bad game to watch. It's going to be sloppy, but it could turn into somewhat of a mediocre shootout. Definitely not a game I'm going to turn my TV on to, but
If you had to pick a spread,
Yeah.
let me know.
So you're going over under.
if I had to pick a
If
spread,
you had to pick a spread, just because.
Dolphins +9.
Oh,
Wow, all right.
Okay, all right.
If I had to.
All right,
I mean,
okay.
optimally, that line would get taken around 10. I could see it creeping up there, but I don't know if it ever gets over the hump, so...
Yeah. All right, so next game we have 49ers at the Ravens.
Potentially the best game of the week.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, this game's going to be full of offense, I think. I don't know. What do you think,
I mean, the 49ers D is arguably like the best in the league, but they do struggle against the run, and as we know, Lamar Jackson is insane at running.
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens are ranked number 1 in rushing yards between him, Mark Ingram, but the thing to consider here is the 49ers are 3-2 against the spread, whereas the Ravens are 2-3. And this is the first time in 12 years that a 10-1 team has been seen as the underdog. Realistically, I think the Ravens do come out on top, but I don't know if the 5.5 is what I want to take for the
So what, you
Ravens.
thinking
This
Rav-
might be
you
just like
thinking
a
Niners?
Raven.
What do you think? Niners 5.5?
I guess I'm not going to go with Ravens -5.5. I'm going to have to go with 49ers. 49ers plus 5.5, but the Ravens still come out victorious.
Yeah, I think this game's going to be. I'm going to make that call right now. What I saw yesterday between what their offense and their defense was, I think they have a great team. Jackson can do it all. He's going to win the MVP this year. You've seen the way he's played. The Niners, I don't trust. He threw 4 tutties last week. I think he threw 4 tutties last week, but I still don't trust Handsome Jim. I think the Ravens cover the 5.5 spread. I'd feel more comfortable if maybe it was 3.5, but I do think that the Ravens cover the 5.5. I think it's close, but they win by a touchdown. What about you?
I agree with you. I mean, I think this... I have not been high on the 49ers this year. They're 10-1, but I think a lot of that... I don't think they're as great as everybody makes them out to be. That division has been I mean, I don't even really know where to go with this, just because Baltimore is that good, and Lamar Jackson...
They're swaggy.
Nobody's found a way to stop Lamar Jackson. And Mark Ingram has not really gotten much praise in the public, but that guy is having a career year, probably his best year he's had. And he's even a little bit older at this point.
I love Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
He's good.
The
I mean,
bulldog.
His shoulders are.
I didn't watch the Monday night game, but yeah, I don't know. Every time I looked at CBS to check the score, I saw in the summary Mark Ingram 20-yard run.
Complete domination last night.
The Ravens hit
Complete
the over
domination.
strictly because of Lamar. Like their total points was the over.
Complete
Like, their
domination.
score.
I think it's a no-brainer. I think 5.5 is good. Is good.
So I'm seeing the line at 6 right now, which makes a difference.
Yeah,
5.5.
Six
You
does
got
make
the
a
key
difference.
numbers. You got. So just a little quick betting tutorial for those new to the game. I don't know how many of you are. Key numbers in betting football: 3, 4. That you can score in 3s, 7s. It's just the way it all. Missed extra points are a big factor these past couple of years. Ever since they moved the kick back. Particular case.
So are you still going to take Ravens -6?
I'm gonna take Ravens -6, and I think they win by. I don't think this game is going to be close.
Okay, all right.
I don't think the Ravens.
1 o'clock game.
For a 1 o'clock start, the Ravens are not going to blow them out like they've been blowing out teams their last. And I don't know. Aside from Kittle, I don't think that offense has out of hand for San Fran, no matter how good their defense is.
I just hope the Ravens wear their all-black unis because those are fly. And then when the stadium goes all black out, that is fresh. So I would love to see that at 1 o'clock on a Sunday. Next, we're gonna hit on the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have the line at Jags -1.5. What do you?
I don't understand that line.
I don't even like.
I don't understand the line.
I don't even know like what to like who to take in this.
I personally like the Bucks +1.5 this game. Jameis Winston he could throw 3 picks, but he can also throw for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 picks, and they would win the football game.
By 2 tutties. It's possible.
Nick Foles, no, I'm sorry, not Nick Foles. It is Nick Foles again. He hasn't won a game yet as a starter this year. He looked good the first game this year, hasn't looked good the past 2 weeks. They just lost to the Titans again. The Titans, Ryan Tannehill put up a day against the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. I like Bucks +1.5 here, and I think you jump on this now before it flips and they're favored. So, and even their money line right now on FanDuel, I have them at +102. So I think those are some easy. I think that's good. That's good.
I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm not taking the Jags. I'm just gonna leave the point on the table and take the money line.
Yeah, okay.
You can keep your point. Give me the little tiny plus money, a little bit above.
Yes, sir.
Maybe like a +105, +110. Give it to me to make me feel good.
Yeah.
I think this game is a blowout. I don't know why this line is the way it is. I just
It's
really
gotta be because it's in Jacksonville.
That's fine, but
Yeah.
home field maybe gives you about 3 points. But Jacksonville has been dragging. They've dropped 3 straight to Houston. Only put up 3 points against Houston. Bad defense. 13 against Indy and 20 against Tennessee. They haven't been able to put up the 20 points is their highest in their past 3 games. I don't know. They're not going to be able to score the football. Tampa Bay's offense is overpowered when Jameis gets going, and Jameis has the potential to get going against a Jacksonville defense that has given up 42, 33, and 26 points in the last 3. I don't care that this game's in Jacksonville. I think this line should be Tampa Bay
-3.5.
3.5, 4, around there. Like I don't get it. I think this is free money. Another potential for lock of the week.
Oh, absolute. That is an absolute lock of the week.
It's been a little coincidental. The 2 that I've said that my locks of the week, 2 teams that my lock of the week would be on are 4-7 teams. Interesting week of NFL betting here.
All right, what do you got, Mike?
Yes,
What do you got? What do you got?
I agree with Stick here. Jameis Winston, if he just gets in that rhythm and he's throwing, him and Mike Evans connecting on just a ton of deep balls, especially since the Jags have lost Jalen Ramsey, they have just struggled. They don't have a main corner that can cover someone like Mike Evans. So if Jameis can stay calm, complete those passes, I think the Bucs are going to run away with this. I'm agreeing with Stick. Take the money line. You can keep your 1 point.
Moving on, Titans at Colts. Indy minus 2.5. Over under at 43.5. This is another game between two mediocre football teams. Both of them coming into this one at 6-5. I mean, I'm definitely staying away from this game. Like, I don't even really want to make a pick on it. My gut is telling me Tennessee plus 2.5.
Yep.
But they're on the road. I don't know. My heart wants to ride the Tannehill train. I really like Ryan Tannehill. Like, I don't know. I just feel bad for the guy. Like, he got put in such a terrible, terrible situation in Miami.
God.
Just couldn't get anything going. He moves to being Marcus Mariota's backup. The disrespect there.
Yeah, jeez.
And finally he's getting a real shot with a more competent football team. Still not, like, a contender. I'd like to see him maybe on the Rams. Like, I wish he was backing up Jared Goff instead of Blake Bortles. Like, he'd probably have a shot by now or be close to having a shot because Jared Goff just cannot get anything going over there. Anyway, yeah, this game is something I Tennessee plus 2.5. Maybe wait for that to get to a field goal, if it does. But yeah, I mean,
all season. I'm also on the Tannehill train here. This is his season. He's just gonna ball out. This is gonna be his season to keep going. And Derrick Henry and AJ Brown are gonna be huge. Can just connect with Tannehill on a few passes. I think that they can definitely lock in back. Jonathan Williams did step up huge last week to take his spot. We'll see if he can carry that through upcoming week. I'm going to go with Titans plus 2.5.
Yeah, not much really to be said left about this game. It's going to be not a fun one to watch. I do think that the Titans cover the 2.5 spread. I'd even buy it down to 3.5. I don't like either team at all. I think Tennessee's defense has been hasn't been legit, but they have a bend don't break mentality. And T.Y. Hilton's he hasn't been playing it all this season. He played last year. Not last year. He played last week, but he said he was on a pitch count. He said his calf was acting up. So who knows what his injury status is going to be like for game time. Yeah, they have Jonathan Williams. Jonathan Williams had back-to-back 100-yard games. I wouldn't bet on him having another 100-yard game. So it's going to come down to Jacoby Brissett throwing to Jack Doyle because Eric Ebron is landed on the IR. He has to get surgery in both of his ankles. How do you have to get surgery in both of your ankles?
I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't play next year.
Who, Eric Ebron?
Yeah.
Well, who cares? So who cares if he plays next year? He drops so many passes. He wants the ball, but he has brick hands. So I think that Tennessee plus 2.5 here is good. It's got some good value. I think it's gonna be a close game when worse comes to worse. All right. So what we got?
Moving on. Washington at Carolina. Another fantastic game to watch.
Man.
The line is, higher than I expected. Carolina minus 10.
Whoa!
Dude.
Over under at 40. Carolina's at minus 500 on the money line.
Shit.
I don't know.
I mean,
this
I
game, I don't know.
You got to go with Carolina.
I have a
You
9.5. I have a 9.5 on FanDuel, so 9.5 is a little easier to look at than minus 10.
Yeah.
First reaction about this game, yuck.
Gross.
The only person I don't even want to talk about this game, to be completely honest, because
Yeah, we'll make this quick.
Yeah, make it quick.
I don't know, Christian McCaffrey. He's projected what? I don't know, 28 points in fantasy this week. Like, that's all you have to know. Like,
he's gonna run all over.
I wouldn't be shocked if McCaffrey scores 4 tutties this week. Combination of rushing, receiving. He's gonna score 1. He's definitely gonna score 2. If you have a prop, Christian McCaffrey over a touchdown and a half, take that. Or if you can kind of take a flyer on maybe McCaffrey plus 2.5, if you get an odds boost or something like that.
Yeah, but
definitely hop.
Honestly, I feel more comfortable taking their money line and taking them at minus 450 to win, just straight up because with the Bears. You could just throw the money line in, maybe do a parlay, try to boost the odds a little bit if you want to feel more comfortable.
Run all over the Redskins. The Redskins are all happy. You got over, can even get into victory formation. They're Panthers minus.
Rams at Cardinals. The line is Rams -3. Over under.
This, I think, goes to a shootout.
Yes, I think the over at 47.5 hits. Big time.
I agree with you. -3. I would use the Rams money line. I don't know. This is a get right game for the Rams. Horrible, but they're not good. Like, it's one of those where on the money or on the spread, and it seems like a little bit of a trap game, but I win this game by maybe like 10 points. It's kind of like one of those 35-27. Have a good defense.
They do.
They've ran into buzzsaws, so like
I just have a feeling this game's gonna. I like the over. I would buy Cardinals down to plus maybe 5.5, 4.5. 4. Kyler Murray has looked outstanding. No one was sure how he was going to play this year. He's looked outstanding. Christian Kirk. Now they have a three-headed monster, if you want to call it that, in the backfield. Chase Edmonds is supposed to play this week, so they have Kenyon Drake. They have a fully healthy, fully rested David Johnson. They have a healthy Chase Edmonds. Yeah, their defense is trash, and that's why I think it's going to be a shootout, but I do think it's going to come down to the last possession, and I think it's going to come down to a game-winning field goal. So, right now, oh, God. Jared Goff is what... Oh, okay, I'm going to go Cardinals +3 here.
All right.
Cardinals +3.
that's a ballsy pick.
Cardinals +3.
I'm actually going to agree with you with Cardinals +3.
Oh, my God.
The one thing, though, about this game is this is not a game that I would like to bet before. This is a live bet game. I would like to see how they come out, see how Gurley is on the ground. If he is not coming out +3, if it's still at that point. Cardinals +3.
All right.
I'm on the Rams.
Oh, God.
It's going to show.
I can absolutely tell why you would want... I get why you want Rams -3. I just think the game's going to be relatively close. And this is me just believing in Kyler Murray for some odd reason. All right, so what we got? Chargers?
At Broncos.
Chargers at Broncos.
Another low line. You got Chargers -2.5. The under-over set at 38.5. I don't know.
Jeez.
I think this is... easy. I think Chargers -2.5, no brainer.
I think so too, but then again, you look at the games the Chargers have played this year. They've played close games. They've lost heartbreakers. They've won close games.
They're a fourth quarter, like 3 minutes left, drive the whole field. Like,
Drive the whole field, make it, don't make
then
it.
throw a pick.
See what happens. Like
I can't tell
tough.
you how many parlays I've lost because of the Chargers. So maybe betting the Chargers is not.
Phillip
a good
Rivers
idea.
is dead. Phillip Rivers is dead.
Yeah, this is. Oh, goodness, I don't know what to think right now. This is tough. I'm gonna have to put my life in the hands of Phil Rivers one more time. Chargers -2.5. I can't deny Phil Rivers, Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler, Hunter Henry, Keenan Allen. Their defense with Derwin James, Nick Bosa.
See, the Chargers also did though put up like double-digit points, like beat the Green Bay Packers by double digits,
Who's starting for the Broncos? Kyle Allen.
Brandon Allen.
Brandon Allen.
Kyle Allen's on the
Brandon
Panthers.
Yeah.
Brandon Allen.
I agree. My gut tells me to take the Chargers.
I have to.
I'm not putting my money on a Denver team, and the Chargers have the talent, but they haven't put it all together. Teams with more talent find ways to win, and covering a low scoring game. Both teams have like middle Chargers -2.5, -3, whatever the line ends up being. I think they win by around a touchdown. But yeah, I mean, that's it. And just a little disclaimer.
Oh, God.
Speaking of Hunter Henry, stay tuned for a possible surprise, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that.
Stay on your toes. I gotta agree with you guys here. Chargers -2.5. I mean, they just have too many weapons on this team. You have Mike Williams and Keenan Allen both as your receivers. In your background, you have Eckler and Gordon. Like, they realistically should beat the Broncos by a decent amount. I think that they're up a touchdown. They drive the field again, throw a pick, and then the Broncos fall short. I'm going to go Chargers -2.5. Texans.
Sunday Night Lights.
So,
Stinky game.
I
What's the line?
this game to watch, as I feel like it could result in a little bit of a blowout. It's not often the line is at now. Opened at 3.5, so money is coming in on Houston. I don't know. Over under set at 44.5. New England's on the road. 10-1. I don't know. You also can get New England on the money line at -165.
Okay, I think that's a better deal.
I agree. I don't know. You're getting a field goal spread with Tom Brady. I don't know the statistics on it off the top of my head, but I don't think that's happened very often.
If you've taken note of the way the Patriots offense worked, it's been stagnant. The Texans have a lackluster defense, but the Patriots offense hasn't been the best. Their defense has been keeping them in games. Stephon Gilmore's been locking people down. But I can't bet against Tom Brady.
You really can't.
I can't do it.
And the one thing the Pats do well is like they always know how to take their defense knows how to take the best opposing player out of the game.
Hopkins.
Right, like they're gonna take. Like, they'll probably take out Hopkins. And their defense has been winning the games. The offense is, like you said, rocky. So if the New England defense could keep up that performance, I think that's well. One other thing to note is that Houston is 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 home games, whereas New England is 8-3 against the spread in their last 11 road games. So this is definitely favoring New England. I think you hop on this early, take New England -3.5.
All right, Monday night, baby.
Just one more point on that game. I could see this game staying close. You said that the Patriots like to take out their opponent's best weapon, which would be DeAndre Hopkins. The thing here is Stephon Gilmore is 6'1". DeAndre Hopkins is 6'4".
DeAndre Hopkins hasn't. I'm sorry. Stephon Gilmore hasn't allowed a reception in like 2 games.
But you're going against DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, he is DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins is going to get his catches. He's got the height advantage.
I'm not denying the catches. I'm denying the production.
Yeah, he's not going to be what he should be doing.
He might get 8 receptions for 40 yards, but that's not going to win the Texans a football game.
No, and which is why I'm going to go with New England -3. I'm just saying this game has the potential to be closer than you think. But then again, I would not be surprised at a blowout. Moving on to the final game of the week, Minnesota at Seattle. It's our Monday night game at 8:15 at CenturyLink Field. You got Seattle -3. The under-over is at 49. Seattle's -150 on the money line. Seattle's home.
Yeah, I mean,
with a 3-point field
against
goal.
the spread 1-4 at home. Seattle against the spread 1-4.
Statistics are just something to give you an indication. I do not think that's going to make much of a difference. Been riding Seattle all year. Think they have too much firepower with Russell Wilson. Lockett has been a little bit quiet the past 2 weeks, but Minnesota has been dragging. They're 8-3, but it's the quietest 8-3 that I think I've ever witnessed over the course of an NFL season. I don't know. Like, they have weapons.
I'm having a tough time thinking about this game, deciding what I want to do. I don't. You know what might sway my decision? Kirk Cousins prime time. Have you seen how he plays in prime time?
Yeah, I just quarterback battle. That's all I'm gonna say is
he's played bad.
He's so bad.
They might get Thielen Diggs. What's his name? Dalvin Cook out of the backfield. I mean, my God. prime time. It might be cold out. I mean,
One
I
thing
can't bet against Russell Wilson. I can't.
You really can't. I mean, the team as a whole. I mean, also the Seahawks do pump in crowd noise into their stadium. Be aware of that. Vikings might not be able to handle it. But I gotta agree. Like, how can you not go with him? He is like the runner-up MVP. You gotta trust in Russell Wilson. I have no faith in the Vikings here. I'm definitely taking the Seahawks at -3.
Yeah, Seahawks -3. I don't think. I think it's kind of a runaway game.
Yeah.
Seattle's a good team. They got talent all over the field, up the field, down the field.
So, just an overall recap of what we have going on here. There's plenty of low spreads. Couple games around 9.5, 10. No crazy spreads this week, so games are going to be close. You got Monday night, Sunday night, 3 Thanksgiving games, which, I mean, Thanksgiving games.
4:30 is prime.
They're big games. It's a big deal to play on Thanksgiving. I mean, games are going to be close, and yeah, we're going to pump out picks like we always do. We're going to have a Thanksgiving slate on Thursday to look out for, which will be tomorrow by the time this podcast drops. But yeah, I mean, you want to go through and give our locks of the week, and then
locks of the week. Yeah. You guys go first. Go ahead.
You want to start us off?
Stick. What you got?
Or
go
ahead.
I mean, I have my lock.
All right, so what do you got?
I mentioned it before. It was either one of two, and I'm gonna choose the Jets. I think Jets. Like, the Jets are just hot enough, and the Bengals are just not that good. Whether they're getting. I think he's in a bad situation. He hasn't had AJ Green all year.
And what happens when he did have it?
This has been Swiss for.
Oh, remember when they had Vontaze Burfict?
Yeah, look where he is. Not in the. Lock it in. Throw away the key. Jets -3.5.
What about you, Mike?
All right, for Mike's lock of the week. But I gotta just say Packers -6.5. They are gonna absolutely blow out the Giants. Like I said, I will be there watching this, probably drinking away my sorrows the whole time.
Yep.
Packers -6.5. There's your lock. Hammer it.
And then my lock for the week. I think this is probably one of the most obvious ones, but Tampa Bay +1.5. I think that game is easy for anyone to bet any amount of money on. I think it's gonna be great. Bucks spread, Bucks money line, whatever you want to throw on. But they'll be a nice add to your parlay if you want to throw them, and then a surefire team like I don't know, whoever you think's a surefire team. I mean, I throw them with the Ravens in a parlay, maybe get a nice odds. But yeah, I'm gonna roll with Tampa Bay +1.5.
All right, so there are our locks of the week. That sums up our episode. Want to thank you guys for tuning in. Keep checking our Instagram, which is at capson.sports for your daily picks. We'll be having a lot on Thanksgiving and coming up into this NFL weekend. So thank you for tuning in. Have a nice night, and we'll see you guys next week on the podcast.
Caps on, baby.